Hello! Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to another 3D Hangouts. My name is Noel Ruiz, designer here at Adafruit. Joining me every week is my brother Pedro.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Pedro Ruiz, Creative Tech here at Adafruit, and every week we're here to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right, the show we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to make inspirational projects. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome. This is going to be the last show of the year.
Woohoo!
Episode 352. My goodness. We got lots of fun stuff to share with you folks. We have a new project this week. Doing a little bit of what we prototyped on this project. A little bit of shop talk news, some community makes, and we'll have a little time lapse at the end. And yeah, we have some fun stuff to share. So we'll give a moment to everybody to say hello.
Hello,
good morning
hello,
to everybody.
good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Everybody hanging out all over the world. We are hanging out in the Discord at discord.gg/Adafruit. We are live on YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, LinkedIn, and a couple other places. Say hi.
Periscope's still out there, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, if you want to comment, suggestions, banter, all that fun stuff, you can do so in the Discord chat room. Pedro just gave you the link for that. It's also up there in the header. We'll take a moment to welcome everybody. I see Liz hanging out there. Good morning, Liz. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get some housekeeping out of the way, shall we? We have some free stuff. If you order more stuff with Adafruit, you can get some free stuff. We still have that pink feather going on for orders that are $99 or more. You're going to get that free pink feather limited edition RP2040. For orders that are $149 or more, you'll get the feather, the pink feather, plus a Stemma QT breakout board. If you have an account with us, we'll make sure you don't get the same one twice. For orders that are $200 or more, you'll get that Stemma QT board, the pink feather, and free ground UPS shipping. For orders that are $299, you get the ground shipping, the Stemma QT, the pink feather, and a blue fruit circuit playground. Very, very cool stuff. Be aware, though, that the shipping deadlines are kind of
passed.
Yeah, it says missing. We got a nice banner up here. First of all, due to high demand, it might take a day or two to ship your thing. And then missing holiday deadlines, don't worry. Check out our gift certificates and AdaBox subscriptions. Don't fret. We have some things. We have some options for you. But pretty much hit all the deadlines, for getting orders before a certain holiday. So that is what it is. But hey, with these freebie deals, will be going on until the products last. So if you got yourself a pink feather, post it up and let us know. I'd love to see one, because I don't have one.
We'll have one soon.
Okay, yeah. Cool. And the other things, jobs. We got some new jobs this week. If you head on over to jobs.adafruit.com and you're interested in checking out some new gigs, we have some new ones here from the fine folks at Engineering Alley. They posted up Adafruit IO and Arduino programming gig. We even have Walmart asking for, looking for a senior software engineer. And Hat Club is also looking for a tech lead. Very cool stuff. So check those out at jobs.adafruit.com. Real quick, we have some newsletters. The really big one that we're really proud of is the Python on Microcontrollers newsletter. Thanks to everybody for subscribing to that. We're still have it open for folks that want to share and promote their projects that are Python related. You can do so by hitting up csp@adafruit.com via email. Get your posts. Anne is always looking for some stuff. And a huge shout to PT Phil Terone. Mr. Lady Ada is back as guest editor on the Python Microcontrollers newsletter. So that's really fun to see Phil doing fun stuff again. Once a week we do a newsletter. It's focused on products. So if you want that in your inbox, go to adafruit.com/newsletter. And Adafruit Daily for all the dailies if you want to subscribe to those, like the Python on hardware newsletter. Okay, that's the housekeeping. Swept the floor. Now I'm ready to get dirty again. So hello everybody in the Discord chat room.
Again, don't forget, gift certificates always available.
Gift certificates and subscriptions to AdaBox. Or you can get an IO card for someone. That'd be cool.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. Lots of fun whippersnapper business going on.
Yeah. Lots of cool. The next AdaBox is going to be so cool. We're working on it right now.
Excellent.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into this week's festive themed project. Last one for the year.
This is it. This is a 3D printed lamp with NeoPixels. It's got a Py RP2040 running CircuitPython. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to mix up some acrylic to make this kind of fun animated effect. So I got the LED chase running here. There's 8 of these panels of acrylic. They're a 1/4 inch thick, so we got some chunky pieces of acrylic. You can laser cut this. You can CNC mill your own kind of animated shapes. I kind of came up with this simple kind of wave thing, and I got this little circle going around, but you could do all sorts of different things like signs and other graphics and whatnot. But the idea here is pretty simple. You get several pieces of acrylic, and when you line them up on a NeoPixel strip, you can animate them to create this animated effect, because the edgelit acrylic is quite fantastic at creating this visual light display. So this is a 3D printed case, like I was saying. We got the Cutie Pie and just a single NeoPixel strip there. It's just 3 wired connections, so it's pretty simple in terms of like soldering and wiring. It's powered off of the USB port right here, USB-C. Got the RP2040 for the Cutie Pie, so it's a nice, small, inexpensive board. But this thing's scalable, right? So if you want to make this, you want to add more frames or less frames, you want to scale it up, you can definitely do that. The CAD files are all open. If you want to modify the design, you can totally do so. We have a step file, a fusion file, and some other things like STLs if you just want to print them out. But as far as the parts go, they all snap fit together. There's no screws in this one. Everything just kind of press fits. These little acrylic panels just pop out. They have a little 20mm tab, and there you can see where the LED is. So the trick getting this to work is to isolate each LED so the light doesn't leak into each other. So that's kind of what I got there. I got a bunch of other shapes and things. We'll kind of run through them real quick, just kind of share. I also have some nifty tips if you're CNCing. So here's a good example of engraving some letters. So this is the 2020 year. You can see that. So if you wanted to mix this up and add some messages, you could do that. If you want to, it's super easy in CircuitPython to lower the speed, so you can have this kind of, take a little bit more time so you can see it. But I thought I'd do something like a little bit of festive thing. So I got Happy Py Leap. Where'd the holiday one go? Somewhere. But you could do Happy Holidays, whatever kind of thing. If you have your own custom graphics, maybe like a walking animation would be cool. I thought it'd be cool to do different shapes, so I got festive and came up with these little Christmas trees. I tried doing some cool designs and things, but I don't know, I just kind of left that alone. So I started doing some snowflakes on these little triangle bits. So I was just kind of experimenting with that. But ultimately, I thought creating like a unified animation was like the way to go. So that's why I kind of came up with, I kind of left these waves here because I think that's like the best way to kind of show what's possible with this sort of thing. Yeah, so that's kind of the demo there. I got some fun videos here that I want to share in terms of like how this came about. So when it came to prototyping this, it really started with just a simple piece, right? The goal is like, all right, how do I get a little 3D printed piece that can hold up pieces of acrylic and have the spacing like absolutely on point for the NeoPixel strip. So this NeoPixel strip is your standard 50/50 style NeoPixel LEDs. You can get them in different densities. We have low, medium, and high density. The medium density is what we're using here. That's 60 millimeters per meter. So that's the version. You can kind of tell them apart. If you work with NeoPixel strips a lot, you can kind of intuitively know that the difference between the 3 styles, the high, medium, and low density. But this is the medium density, and they're about 16 millimeters apart in terms of like the pitch, the distance between the 2 pixels. So that's kind of how I came up with prototypes, just a single piece. Try to get the tolerances to fit for the acrylic. So the acrylic's 1/4 inch. That's about like 6 millimeters thickness. So that's kind of what I came up with. Just a really simple little thing, and then figuring out what else needs to go around it. So that's kind of how I started it. So I did not laser cut these. I used the CNC mill. I got myself a little Bantam Tools desktop CNC. It's really good for this type of stuff. And really, the kind of problem I had here is like, well, I'm limited to my bed volume, and I wanted to make these big pieces. So I really had to think, like, okay, what could I do with such a small build volume? Like, it's not super small, but it's 100 by 100 millimeters. And what I found is that when you create shapes, you can kind of place them in a way where they're optimized. So you can see these 2 triangle shapes. You get more out of your material if you strategically place them where your kind of cuts will kind of feed into each other. So you can see here in between those two shapes, I have like no distance between them, so or just enough distance where the tool won't bite into the next piece. So I'm able to get a lot out of my material by just strategically placing them. So if you're new to like laser cutting or CNC milling, I think that's a tip that's applicable. Try to be smart about your material. You got a big sheet, don't cut in the middle of it. Just use the top corner. That's something I learned from Jimmy DeResta. It's kind of my hero, but yeah, that's one tip I got if you are new to CNCing and laser cutting. Try to get the most out of your material and think about your bed and the build volume that you have. What can you do with what you got? The next one is after I cut those shapes, I thought, well, let me play this one first. So after I cut those shapes, I strung them together and I got this really cool kind of effect. There's no engraving at this point in the design. I didn't think about engraving. I was just thinking about shapes and having the edges of the shapes really define the effect. So it looks really stellar without any engravings. And then you can see there underneath there. So I'm starting to kind of figure out how do I incorporate a kind of a cover that holds the acrylic holder in place. So that's kind of the second prototype. And then once, because I've already cut all these shapes, I wanted to engrave some snowflakes. But to do that, I needed to design a little jig. So I 3D printed a little jig so that I can align it to the spoil board precisely in the origin. And by doing that, you can get a really good representation of where your artwork will go on your pre-cut piece. So in this case, I'm using a little triangle piece, and it's a good method because you don't have to like adhere the piece to the bed. Like normally what I have to do is use double stick tape to attach my pieces to the bed, but because the tolerances are so tight in the jig, I don't have to glue it. So I literally just pop it in and then pop it back out, and it's just a friction fit. So the only tape I had to do was on the actual jig here. I just put 2 strips of tape here, and then you have yourself a little jig. So if you're CNC milling, creating a jig is almost like 60% of your work. So you can see here, I kind of recreated it for this tree shape. So the idea was I paste this to the spoil board, line up this corner here. You can see I even got clever with the thicknesses of here. It's kind of thinner in this area, but these lips are kind of raised so that I can align it to the spoil board. And then this just pops in like so. And then when you mill it, you can just pop it back out. So you got a real nice tolerance fit there. So that's a really cool tip, and that's how I was able to create all of these fun snowflake shapes after I've already cut all the main shapes. So that's kind of a fun thing there. I think folks that have like a Glowforge, like, they don't have to worry about jigs because they have like a camera.
I think you just place it.
You just place it and
throw
like,
it on
you
there.
can place it at an angle. It has smarts to realign it. But if you're CNC milling, you might not have those smarts. But very, very cool. So that's the jig piece. Let's see. So engraving CNCing is pretty what do they say about it? I don't know. So bringing in vector artwork is going to be different on however you're interfacing with your machine. So for me, I used Fusion 360. I brought in some SVGs, and I was able to lay out some tool paths. But you could, if you have like an X-Carb, I believe they use something like easel, so you would have to kind of do all that through the easel. Think about like kind of how the Cricut works. Like you bring in and you interface with their Cricut design software. So it's going to be different for everyone. So that's why it's not really documented on this Learn Guide on how to actually do the artwork, because it's going to be different depending on what machine and what method you're using, whether it's a laser cutter or CNC mill.
Especially with the CNC, since you have to program every single path that is going on.
Unfortunately, yeah. And just like Cricut design, like you can pay extra subscription if you want like pre-made artwork and more features. And Bantam Tools doesn't shy away either. Like if you want some advanced SVG tool paths, you got to pay for it. It's like, I understand, and that's why you just kind of got to figure out like what method do you want. So yeah, there's different ways to do it. But yeah, there's some fun engraving there. And I have a tip. If you are CNC milling, you want to be very cautious about your pieces and your tool bit. What happened here is I didn't clean off the gunk, the glue adhesive that's on the double-sided tape. So it just starts accumulating, and because friction and the way it's running, it just messed up. So, the tip here is just to
keep everything clean.
Keep your tools clean too, not just your spoil bed. Some alcohol and a paper towel definitely goes a long way when you wipe clean your tool bit. Get rid of that gunk, even if it's just a teeny bit of adhesive. It will build up and it can cause friction. And if you're doing acrylic, it can get really nasty. So that's my tip. Just clean your tips. That's my tip. Clean your tip. Yeah. So for this project, we lost one of our tools, which is not a big deal if you got more tools on hand. So always have an extra spare tool on hand. Yeah.
That goes for any of the components that might break.
Yeah, always wipe down the bed of your 3D printer, that sort of thing. You don't want your first layer to be terrible.
I also wanted to say, make sure you have extra nozzles. Make sure you have extra motor
BLE
breakout
touch.
boards.
Make sure you have a multiple BLE touch.
Multiple of the needles that do the actual testing of your bed.
Yeah, make sure you have more than one tool, for sure. And material, too. I had to get some more material mid-project, and I'm sweating bullets. Oh, no. So there's some tips there for you. But that's pretty much the project, right? So we're going to walk through the Learn Guide now and just kind of show you folks how to go about building it if you want to build one. So real happy that all the parts are in stock, mainly the Py RP2040, this NeoPixel Strip. A little bit weird. I have a little message here. It says this $100 NeoPixel Strip is for a full reel. That's 240 pixels. You need 8 for this project. You only need 8. And if you click on this product, there is an option in the sidebar that says 1 meter. It's only $27. So I would get a meter if you haven't played with the NeoPixel strips yet. But this is kind of your medium density NeoPixel strip. You can get it in a white PCB or a black PCB. It doesn't matter for this project, but you just need 8. So if you already have this style of NeoPixel lying around and you have 8 LEDs to spare, these are great because they have the pads where you can cut it and you can create your own strips and designs by just cutting and stringing them back together. So that's the NeoPixel strip there. And then some extra bits and bobs like a USB-C cable for the Py, a ribbon silicone cable, which is our favorite wires, and some rubber feet because it's a lamp and you want to have some grip. And when it comes to the acrylic sheets, I like to get my stuff from Inventables.com, but you can get it from your local supplier or whoever else. As long as it's a 1/4 inch thick acrylic, should be good. But this edge-lit acrylic from Inventables is good for CNCing and laser cutting, and it has some really nice diffusing particles, as it says here. Cast sheets with light diffusing particles. Ooh. And you can get it in different sizes here. I got an 8x12. You can go to Tap Plastics too and get pre-cut. So if you want to have it pre-cut to the bed of your laser cutter or CNC mill, you can do that too. But it's so much fun. If you're just getting into, if you got yourself a laser cutter and you're meaning to do some acrylic stuff, I think this is a great project because you get multiple sheets. You just make one acrylic sheet. No, make 8 of them. So that's cool. Where am I? Here I am. So those are the parts, and that's the acrylic. Let's check out the circuit diagram. Super, super simple. It's just 3 wired connections for your NeoPixel strip to the Py. You got a data pin, power and ground. Py is really great because it's got the 5-volt pin, so you can power those NeoPixels properly. And you can put this on a battery if you want, but I think people are gonna keep it plugged into a wall adapter or their USB hub on their computer. Installing CircuitPython, the Py is super duper simple. Double tap the reset button, or no, you hold down the boot select and then hit reset. It shows up like a USB drive. Drag and drop a UF2 file to install the latest version of CircuitPython. So this right here kind of walks you through all of that, and you have some status LEDs that lets you know it's good. Code is really, really simple. It's using the LED animation library to kind of create this effect. The chase animation module is the best here because you can quickly update the size and the spacing. So the way this works is you have mainly 4 parameters that you want to change. You want to change the speed. So depending on how fast you want your animation to run, or if you want to slow it down, you'll just play with that number. Colors, you can pick whatever color you want. You can create your own or use the built-in ones. And then size tells you how many pixels you want lit at a time, and then spacing, how many pixels you want turned off at a time. So I have 1 size and then 8 spacing, and that's what gets you that 1 LED on and running and chasing. So I string a couple of them together and just change the color, and then I string them together with the animation sequence module. You just kind of group them together, and then in your while true loop, you just say animate animations, and it animates. So really super easy and super customizable. So check it out. Play around with the different speeds and things. Yeah. All right, and then for the CAD files, here's all the STLs and the source file. So just a couple parts. You got a case, bottom cover, a holder for the acrylic, and a holder for the strip. 2 separate things. You are going to need a minimum build volume of about 210 millimeters because the lamp is the case rather, in the bottom cover, they're a little bit big because it accommodates for the actual board, the Cutie Py. But y'all can download the STLs and print them out without any supports. PLA. I use actually wood fill. That's why it's brown. And I used wood PLA filament. It works fine. Might vary on different nozzles and stuff, but you know, y'all know what PLA you like these days. And then when it comes to like the shapes, I have SVGs of what I made, like these 3 different ones. I have like a triangle, a tree, and like the sign. But the main thing you want to look at is the tab that gets inserted into the acrylic holder is 20 millimeters wide, and it can be whatever tall. So that's the SVGs that I have for folks. If they just want something to cut and get right away, you can do that. You can bring this artwork into your Glowforge or your easel, and then you can put other SVG graphics on top, type, icons, whatever. I think the hard part here for an artist is going to be to figure out their workflow and getting those 8 frames of animation. So that's going to be fun. And then if folks want to use our 3D models of the electronics, we got a whole slew of them. They're available on the GitHub repo. Page has got a link there for everybody, so you can get a one-to-one accurate model of the Cutie Py and the NeoPixel and whatever else we have in that repo. So check those out. All right, now when it comes to wiring, pretty straightforward. You only have 3 wires to connect to NeoPixel, and you definitely want to solder the wire on the bottom of the strip because you want the top surface of the strip to be flush with the 3D print. So that's why I recommend soldering from the bottom. But yeah, pretty straightforward. Wiring up the Cutie Py, just using that A0 pin and the 5-volt and ground pin, and that's pretty much it. When it comes to the assembly, no glue or screws required here. Everything just kind of snap fits together. The NeoPixel Strip like slots into the LED holder. It's got like this little groove that keeps it in place, so that's really cool. You can use tweezers to help kind of push it, because as you push an LED, it kind of locks into those little slots. So it's a really kind of a clever way to get a nice hold, but it's still removable. It's still modular. So that's really cool. If you have a burnt out pixel or something, it's easy to take this thing apart and take it out. So that's the NeoPixel Strip holder. Next thing is to snap fit the Cutie Py PCB into the built-in holder on the bottom cover. You got these little 4 corner snaps. You want to put it at an angle, and because the cover is like thin, you can actually bend it slightly, flex it, so that those corners will lock onto the edges of the Cutie Py. That way you have this really nice, like you kind of came up with this actually. You know exactly. That's a really good way to have a really good hold on your PCB, but without any glue or screws. And there's no mounting holes on this thing, so that's kind of the way to do it. And you have all these reliefs on the sides so that you can actually flex it open and take it out still. So that's a really cool thing. I hope to do a layer by layer in the future on how to model that thing, because there's some cool things you can do there.
It's amazing how much geometry goes into such a
tiny little piece. Geometry, it really does. It's got like different levels of lips and things and reliefs. It's pretty cool though. All right, and then once that's stuck in place, you can fit the holder, the LED strip holder, into the case. It just has a friction fit. It just kind of has a flush fitting as well. And then there's a little opening on the sides for the actual wire, so it's got that built into there. And then installing the holder just gets press fitted in, like I said. And then the bottom cover fits into the case. Just line up. All you gotta do is just make sure you line up the USB port of the Cutie Pie with that USB opening on the case. You can also add some rubber feet there for some grip. And now the last thing to install, second to the last thing, is that acrylic plate holder. That fits right over the LED holder. They're two separate things because I just felt like it would be nice to have a modular base so that you don't have to worry about taking out the strip and the acrylic. So that's why I have them as two separate pieces. Then you can play around with different colors. So if you have a specific color scheme you want to do for your lamp, you know, you have that option. And then installing the acrylic, you just press fit them in. If so, you know, 1/4 inch all acrylic varies in thickness. It's not always precisely the same. What I found is, like, on some of these pieces, they were loose. So what I ended up doing is adding some packaging tape to the tabs, clear packaging tape. That way it doesn't visually look terrible. So that packaging tape is right there. You can see I'm not perfect at it. It doesn't need to be because it transfers the light really well. And it's not visible because this is what gets, you know, fitted inside, fitted inside here. So yeah, that is the whole build in a nutshell. What is that black cat doing? That's a super cute black cat.
Interactive cat toy.
Build that now. And that is the Lord Guide.
Yay, perfectly themed for, I think, all, not just festive holidays, for like offices. You can have your nameplate on there, or your company logo animated on there, or just your desk. Super cool way to remind everybody what to do.
Yeah, cool. Like I said, if you got yourself a laser cutter and you got some acrylic, and you're meaning to do some fun, light up artistic stuff with it, this is a cool little idea.
That's a reminder for me because I keep thinking we're still in 2020 for some reason.
Yeah.
Every time I do something, it's like, like looking at like food in the fridge or something. It's like 2021. This is still good. No.
Right.
It just expired a month ago.
Yeah. Cool.
Happy holidays. People saying in the chats over on the Facebooks. Happy holidays, Richard. Happy holidays. I am super impressed with, did Facebook just launch this? They have real-time closed captioning going on. And I'm amazed just looking at myself being closed captioned.
It's like Siri's dictating here.
Yeah, this is so
That's cool.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
And what's funny is that it's putting in a lot of the product names correctly.
¿Qué pasa si hablamos en español? ¿Tú crees que puede escribirlo bien?
Coming up.
Estoy esperando que hace. What's Alvaro when I talk to him?
It does not know.
It's like, I don't know what you speak. Well, that was very fun. Thanks, folks, for hanging in there with us.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into. Oh, look, it is. Oh, wait, no, it did not translate any of that or type it out.
Yeah, it knows. It's just English.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into this week's prototyping.
Well, pretty much we're done for the year, so that's why I was sharing this prototype.
I'm like all tired from the kids being home from school.
It's exhausting, but hey, that's the prototype. You get a good look at how simple it really starts. Just one little piece. Figure out, is this gonna work? Is this a cool effect? And this is what drove me to like keep going. It is really cool. I don't know what else to say about it. It's
well, Lamar saw this on a different. I don't know if you have the links on here.
That's
a lot of the ideas.
It's completely different.
Yeah, though. I know, but that's like the spark of what
you're right. Yeah.
What led us down the path to this. A lot of these ideas that they'll see somewhere like, hey, we could do this.
Yeah, and you put your own spin on it, right? What interests you? So very cool. Okay, we're going to jump into shop talk. We got some fun new stuff here. So I encourage everybody to check out prusaprinters.com. It's a alternative universe to Thingiverse, really. And you might think that, well, I got Thingiverse. They're so popular. That's where everybody downloads and that's where the traffic is. So Prusa Printers have been working hard to incentivize people to start using their site. So what they're starting to do is they have this new reward system where the more you contribute, the more points that you can get awarded. And what's cool about these points is like Chuck E. Cheese. You get these points and then you can trade them in for actual goods. So in this case, you can get filament. Where do I click on again? Oh, man, I forgot. Oh, right here. So you have like these point systems. So we have 30 points right now. And when you get up to 350, you can spend them and use some stuff. So you have some Prusa Mint, some PLA, some PETG, ASA.
I want that hoodie.
You want the hoodie? That's
What
a
is
cool
the hoodie?
500
Blow it up.
points.
No. What's the design look like?
You
can't zoom up on it.
Not yet. It's still new. It just dropped. But there's a T-shirt and a hat. I really like the hat.
The design looks cool. I
It
want to
does
see
look
that.
cool. I want to, and they got that orange
Yeah,
thing. It's very, very cool. So I'm kind of excited, to be honest. It's really cool, and they are what is it called? Retroactively giving you points.
I thought
So
they weren't.
we're level 13, right?
Lucky.
Yeah,
13?
we're level 13. I got a nice, folks are actually using it, so I'm glad, the putting the effort into uploading your models isn't too bad. There's actually a Thingiverse importer, so you can just import all your existing designs into your Prusa account. It's free to sign up.
Cool.
So you get these cool badges. Lets you know what if
They have.
I don't think I'm an expert, but I'm experienced.
They have gamified
They have gamified, right? So we got like badges, and you can see how many points you're at. I'm a Prusa printer's maniac, But yeah, we have 210 designs currently. I threw up there this week's project, the menorah, and some of the other ones. So yeah, if folks want to contribute, you got a reason to try to use the site now. There's no ads here either. There's no ads like Thingiverse, and the site's pretty much up all the time. I don't see it down ever, like Thingiverse can get down sometimes. So check it out. I mean,
in all fairness, though, there is just the floodgates over at Thingiverse.
Yeah, and our numbers here are really kind of low, but I really like the Prusa's, approach to how do we reward people for contributing to the site? And this is, I think, the best way. I don't think anyone else is doing this.
The gamification.
Right, in terms of like
looking down
all
over,
the sites out there.
Looking down over at the, what is this, Twitch comment by, I think it's Tyler?
What's up?
Just mentioning, don't forget, My Mini Factory, Cults 3D.
Thank you, yes. If you are a
wonderful
designer
world with
and
all.
Yeah, the marketplaces are really good. Like Mini Factory, we like Cults 3D. Our designs get up there as well.
Yeah, the past couple of community make Timelapse Tuesdays have been from Cults 3D.
Yes,
Paid
downloads, yes.
Paid downloads.
Yeah, we definitely like paid stuff because the artists really should get paid for it.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's really badass design.
For sure. Oh, and they break down what you get, like what completing your profile is 20 points, publishing a print is 10 points. I kind of did the math, right? So like if we need to get to 320,
is that
that's
the hoodie?
about
I want that hoodie.
That's about 32 projects. So that in about 32 weeks, I hope we can get a hoodie or some filament. That's literally how we can like schedule out. Like, all right, when am I gonna get? Because we're pretty much guaranteed to come out with something every week, right?
If not multiple things a week.
Yeah, and there's like a couple designs I haven't up, like actually a couple.
I was gonna
100.
say if you
really
jump
have,
over to
like,
our Thingiverse
400.
page, we have over 400 designs.
Yeah. So
and there's so much stuff that we see, you working on that you never even release or publish. You're like,
oh no, nobody will like it.
Although I already know we'll get that hoodie and they won't have it in my size.
Why? Oh, because it's super small.
Because you know
extra
how
small,
sizes work. With,
Yeah,
but
they're they're in Europe, so. Should I take
I'm sure
my
a small
designs
is
off
like an
Thingiverse?
extra.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say take them off unless you got a vendetta against them.
We put everything up on.
I've seen people like get really upset and take their designs. You're free to do so. My recommendation is what you want to do.
Post
I'm
another
not
rant.
gonna.
The one thing, have you tested seeing if they've added any RSS?
Prusa Bucks. That's a great name. So if you want to get some Prusa Bucks, you know where to go.
So if anybody out there, so the way that I look for all of the blog posts and Timelapse Tuesdays is RSS feeds from Thingiverse.
Yeah.
I have tried to build one from Prusa.
Yeah, they don't have an RSS feed.
There's no RSS feed. I use Feedly. They have some new little thing that lets you create it, but it still doesn't work.
Their team is very open to suggestions, so maybe I'll tweet at them saying, hey, we would really use the RSS feed. So
yeah, man.
That's a good thing. Okay.
I think Cults needs
They
to do
have
that as well.
Okay, Cults too.
I think the only other
anybody
one
does
that
it.
does it is Ultimakers. Umagine.
Holy moly.
That's the only way that I know that it's still even up because I see it come up on the feed.
You remember PinShape?
Oh yeah.
PinShape was bought from Formlabs quite a few years ago. I don't know what happened to it.
It's hard running a database warehouse.
Yeah. Nowadays, yeah. Well, that's...
Let's go ahead and continue on to the community makes. Oh,
Okay.
no, that was shop talk.
That was shop talk. We're done shopping. Our suggestion is do what your heart tells you to do. Like, if you want to leave your designs, it's fair game. Cool. We good? Ready to switch?
Yeah.
All
Let's go
right, community
into
makes.
this community makes.
All right.
Another
this time
themed-
lapse is gnarly. This is a...
Again, I saw this because
Krampus or
it came up on the
Krampus?
RSS feed.
Yeah, Tobias Franke. Shout out to Tobias for
This
designing and
thing
releasing such a stellar
is
Krampus.
so
Krampus. So this is a wearable mask. It's very
It's big.
very wearable.
It took 3 days and broke one of the printers. I had to
How
get new parts
devilish.
for it.
It
Yeah,
broke
right?
the printer. How devilish! And you even ran out of filament. You
And
had to
ran out of
change it at
filament.
the top there. That's great.
So you're gonna need an entire spool of purple, blue, whatever, Krampus.
Yeah, so mainly two
colors.
halves. There are definitely some supports, but hey, that's the name of the game for these lovely shapes and ergonomic curves. Look at the curves on that face.
Extra
So
points
good.
because it's wearable with glasses.
Yeah, so let's take a look at
Look
Tobias's.
at how big this is. I'm waiting for you to switch the camera so I can
okay.
show for scale how freaking giant this thing is. Wearable with your glasses, and you have the eye slit so you can actually see what you're doing. My tongue's not long enough. That's the only thing I feel that it's missing from Krampus. One of the things you always see in illustrations and costumes is that long
Here, wait.
tongue.
Look at the insides. Very, very nice shell.
So
very
nice and
thick, too.
smooth.
Nice and thick. Yeah, there's no sharp edges or anything.
We should probably read how he designed it, but it's probably ZBrush or something that is allows you to do sculpting because it is super smooth. Lots of really high subdivisions on it. The only mess up here was the lower bottom tooth there that came off from the supports. And yeah,
Very
looks like it
breathable.
paints very nicely.
Very breathable. It's very huge.
And the only
You didn't
thing-
scale this up at all? Yeah.
No, that's original size.
Kind of getting Piccolo vibes from trying to
Again, super happy that it works while wearing your glasses. It actually fits better on me with your glasses on because your glasses act like a little holder for the entire mask.
Could put some sort of strap here. There isn't any loops or anything, but you can just hot glue it there.
I think you were going to read the description that he
Right.
posted
Hold
on
that
it.
while I take a look at Tobias's Thingiverse.
I feel like the horns, I think, need to be a little bit bigger too, but that's something that you can go in and adjust yourself.
Can you tell from the screenshot what that might be? ZBrush?
I don't know, it might be ZBrush.
Yeah. But very,
would
very
not.
cool. So let me read Tobias's. This is a full wearable Krampus mask. It's inspired by the traditional Krampus, a fictional creature from the Bavarian, Austrian, or Swiss Alps. The original masks are hand carved out of big pieces of wood. This one could be 3D printed. Like a real Krampus mask, it has slits under the eyes, which you can see through. When you wear the mask, the mouth is open, which has better ventilation than a latex or silicone mask. In order to wear it, all you need to do is glue some Velcro or straps on the backside. Put some soft foam under the top of the mask. You can make it fit your head. In case you don't want to print the full-size mask, there's also a mini version. And
There's a
if
mini
you,
version?
If you feel free to share your creations, and if you're interested, you can buy Tobias a coffee. There's a little buy button here, coffee. And this was printed on a Prusa MK3S.
Nice.
Very cool. Recommended is PLA, minimize the warping, easier to glue the halves together. There you go. You use an airbrush to paint it,
Yeah.
which is a really
That
good.
is
Go
the way to do
wild
it.
with your paint job. So
I wish I had time to do at least color in the eyes because there's so much very nice detail.
I think purple's really nice. Very on theme brand.
Now you can see all the holes there like that. Like perfect for after Christmas. Nice little
I like
wall
the duality
mounted.
of like this saint figure and then like the devil. It's like great yin and yang.
I know they need to do more Krampus integration with the holidays because this
For
is
sure.
just so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Got some goblin feels too with the way the
The
ears are.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall. And then I saw like Phil B posted it too. I was like, yep.
Yeah.
I was right in the middle of printing the second part when he posted that. Like, oh, almost, bro, almost.
So
It was definitely,
any tips or anything that off the top of your head that helped you kind of get this thing printed?
I I think the support settings on that, the usual things that I do.
Low density.
Low density.
You got
like
an
6%
layer going on?
No interface layer, just the roof. The width of the supports, I always use 0.2 for the width, so it's nice and thin, easy to remove.
Yeah.
0.25 for the Z distance between the supports and the actual geometry to make it easier to have it not fuse at all.
Okay. Any supports needed for the horns? Those
No.
are printed
so
separately?
You can kind of see how the horn, I can't take them off, I had to hot glue them on there.
Okay.
They are sunk into the bed about 5 millimeters.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you can see it flat now.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Because the tips here have like some sort of, you can see in the object
they have a
file.
bit of a registry key.
Exactly.
Key and a registry
Yep. Oh, the one thing that I will have to point out, he has these marked as a left and a right, but they're both like left, so you have to go into.
Siri, I have like some sort of a registry. Key the one thing that I.
So you'll have to go inside of your slicer and do a mirroring yourself because the left, I printed both out and they're like, oh no, these are both left, they're both right, whatever the heck it was. So.
Yeah, if you're using Cura Slicer, there's a built-in mesh tool. Or no, they're not built-in. It's from the plugin, the Marketplace plugin thing.
No, it's just literally mirror. It's like
really?
built in, yeah.
Oh, cool.
You just
I
have to
thought you
mirror.
needed the mesh tools.
No.
Okay, cool. So
I think all of
built-in.
the slicers have like a
can mirror.
mirror on the whatever ZX, Y.
Cool.
One of those.
Well, good tip. There's a little bit of a mirror thing with the horns.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's
all.
it.
Low density for the infill. And you get yourself a nice little Krampus mask.
Little, it's massive.
I mean,
mask. I know what you mean.
This is good for the Halloween and
Yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
decoration-wise.
And, orient them how you want on your bed. You just want to flip that.
Yeah, you got to flip that one.
And Pedro got that, raise it lower from the bed.
Yes,
printing it like this would be
rotate it so it's like that, and then sink it 5 millimeters into the bed.
Okay. Well, cool. That's this week's community to make.
Is that a free download? Yes, this is a free
It is a
download.
free download. If you feel generous, you can buy Tobias a coffee.
Definitely worth it.
Yeah, buy Tobias a coffee.
One thing we didn't talk about. Did we? I think it's listed in the time lapse. It takes about 3 days to print, so
Yeah.
hopefully you have more than one printer.
Right. Or if you
Maybe
want
two.
maybe the bigger nozzle if you don't want the detail or something. You could try
Another
that.
good point.
Don't forget about big nozzles.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got some other community makes that were sent to us, so let's run through
I
those
feel
real
like I
quick.
need to have this here for the time lapse. So I can
Yeah. So this is a really cool one. We like props here at Adafruit. And this one is a full-blown remix of the Master Sword from The Legend of Zelda. So check this out here by Thingiverse user Mystique100. It says, this is a modified version of the Master Sword by Garrett. Garrett is the original designer of the Master Sword that we remixed. And it says here it has the battery, electronics, and strips, and the printable on an Ender 3 or a smaller printer. This is highly inspired, but it's not a remix of the LED Master Sword from Adafruit. It's designed from scratch with the source, and Garrett actually shared his Fusion 360 design, which is downloadable, so you can modify the source. Main differences from the Adafruit version: this is smaller parts that are fitted for a printer with a bed of 220 by 220. No broken geometry. Apparently, I guess there was some broken geometry. Sturdier handle, the larger walls, and the key inserts into the guard. 2 versions of the handle, a classic version split in half like the other parts, with a hole for the pommel and a USB or a DC jack, and then there's a solid version for a USB-C port and the pommel acting as a screw cap. Very, very cool. And then the electronics used a Arduino Pro Micro and a LiPo charger, a bunch of other stuff. But you could also use the Feather M0 and a prop maker to replace the power and circuit control. Yeah, I recommend that too. Thanks for sharing that though. And there's some more photos on their website here. So let's take a look at those. Oh man, thing's massive, huh? Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, with that whole other section in there, it just makes it way bigger.
Yeah, it does. Holy moly, thing's huge. So yeah, if you're a super fan of this prop, definitely check it out. There are multiple remixes now. Everyone likes to kind of remix it, take on the challenge to make it fit your printer, because it fit our printer, and really, really cool. And don't forget Garrett is kind of like the original
Mhm.
creator of it. So it's
yeah.
really fun to see. That's one thing I really like about Thingiverse. It has history, and you kind of have the derivative history, and you can see far back how
So
the
far
design
back.
has spread.
Yeah.
I remember somebody made a visual thing
Whoa.
where you could see like all like the nodes of all the derivative
Wow.
designs. So that's really cool.
Yeah,
so
that's
shout
one
out
thing
to Mystic
new
100.
sites can't do. Go back in time and
Yeah, they
start
got
from
the history. Unfortunately, Thingiverse has history. All right, and then the last make here is a Raspberry Pi HDMI camera. So we made a little 3D printed case for the Pi HQ camera, and webtechie.be posted up an article here on getting it to work with this Blackmagic design kind of camera switcher. So there's some nice documentation with some code snippets here on how to actually get the Raspberry Pi HQ camera working with that camera switcher. And here's their little 3D printed case that worked out really well for the rig. So very, very good. So yeah, check out the blog post here. We'll post it up later. But shout out to WebTechie for sharing that with us.
awesome.
Cool, cool. And this was actually posted on Prusa Printers, the make. I'm noticing more people are commenting on our designs, trying not
Get their
necessarily
points up.
game the system, but that's how you get the points, right? Rate and comment, like and subscribe. All right, well, that's kind of it. Thanks you everybody for sharing the stuff with us this year. It's been really
Yay.
fun to see folks making stuff and remixing stuff and just sharing and publishing. Publish is what PT says all the time.
Yes.
So that's this week's Community Makes, the last one of the year.
Yay.
Sorry, Krampus.
So happy that Krampus made it in.
Yeah.
Almost didn't happen
Keeping it
with
weird, huh?
with
Keeping
it busting
it
the
weird.
printer
Printing
several
printer.
times with the nozzle, the
Dang,
Bowden
that thing's huge.
tube, the breakout for the motor.
All right. Well, later tonight, we got a slew of shows. We got the back and back. Show and tell every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope to see you there. We invite you to do so. You can come on through the Discord server, come into the live broadcast chat room, and then like 5 minutes before the show, PT will post the link to the StreamYard so you can join in and share what you're working on. All fair game. Electronics, arts and crafts, sewing, 3D printing, hand carving, woodworking, all that's all fair game. Even retro track, we like seeing retro tech.
Yeah.
All right, and maker spaces too. We like seeing people's maker spaces and stuff. And then later, return of they were on last week. So Ask Engineer is at the same time slot tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You get some free product. You get a coupon code, I think. Top secret, the Great Search, right or no? Ion MPI and new products. Open source news and more. So that's tonight. 2 shows. John Park is off this week, but he will return in the following week in January.
I think in
4th?
January, yeah.
January 4th, we'll see John Park. But normally every Thursday at 4 p.m., John Park's workshop is on Thursdays.
Woohoo.
I'm not assuming Scott has a show this week.
I don't think he's going to do one on Christmas.
For Christmas. This is a holiday here in the States and other places. So Deep Dive Discuss will return in 2022.
Yay.
From the desk of Lady Ada, she did one yesterday. No, the day before yesterday.
On Monday.
On Monday. Normally she does them on Sundays, but with
some
family traveling and stuff, she was able to do it on Monday.
Yay.
So shout out to Lady Ada. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on YouTube as an archive. JP's doing the Tuesdays. He's returning again next year. Just a couple weeks. Don't worry. Sounds like a long time. Like, I'll see you next year, but it's not that far away. And then we do the show every Wednesday. This is our last show. 352 episodes so far. How many episodes do we do a year now? Like once a week, right? And there's like 50,
At least 52.
At least 52, yeah. Maybe a little bit less. We take some times off every now and then, and we hope you do too. Any last words in the thing before I close it out?
Sorry, I'm...
Y'all been real quiet. I like that everybody's quiet. That's fine. Everybody's hanging out. Hope I haven't scared anybody away with some Krampusness. Okay.
All right, that's going to do it for this year. The video before the last would be just a little compilation of all the projects that we worked on in 21. I gotta get used to saying 2022 now. Jeez. Flew by.
We're not used to saying 2022.
I know. So... Something you always say, something about the maker endeavors, and don't forget to make them.
Yeah, we hope everybody stays safe out there. If you have plans, don't feel bad about canceling them. It's always better to not be sick.
Quoting what the
you know,
what is it? WHO, World Health
just
Organization.
Be safe out there. If
they're
you
to cancel the plans
try
instead
to be
of
safe. Yeah,
killing someone. So
yeah, it's it's very bittersweet. We want to see everybody healthy. So yeah,
and with
big
that,
shout outs to folks. Look, we got lovely comments. Jim Henderson, thank you so much. We'll see you tonight. Liz, thank you so much too. We'll hope to see you tonight. Minnesota, Minton, thanks. Thank you. Thank everybody for watching. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. We hope we've inspired everybody to create some cool art, weird stuff, whatever tickles the
don't forget to follow Adafruit on all the socials. We'll post.
Yeah, we'll be posting stuff
every single day.
Yeah.
So check that out.
And Vince as well for saying hello.
Happy.
Thanks. Yeah,
Merry,
thank you. You're
Merry.
welcome, man. Everybody's all right. Well, we wish everybody happy holidays. Stay safe out there, and good luck on your maker endeavors.
And with that, don't
Until
forget
next year.
to make a great day.
Make a great year. Bye, folks.
See you next year.
Bye bye. Woo. Oh, I'm gonna play this music video if y'all haven't seen it. Get ready for it. Here we go.